Did you enjoy going to school?
Um, I enjoyed going to my school before I was 11. That was a nice school, and then I went to a not a very nice school at all.
What school was the nice school?
The nice school was just down the road to me, and my mother used to walk me there. And even when it was foggy, I don't know whether you know, but there was very, very bad fogs in the 1950s. So much so that when you're walking, you couldn't see your hand in front of you. So my mother used to take me to school in the fog. But the school was a lovely school, and so I enjoyed it, except the maths teacher, because she used to hit me over the knuckles with a ruler, and she used to throw the blackboard cleaner at me. Yeah.
Why? Did
She
she do
thought I
that?
was naughty. She thought I was naughty. And also, I was very, very bad at maths. And when I was 5 years of age, I was so bad at it and so frightened and so scared of it. I cheated with the girl that was sitting next to me. So I copied her work. And the teacher saw me and screamed at me and made me leave the class. And I was very, very hurt and embarrassed. And that's why I never really was able to do maths again, because it made me scared.
Did she do it to any other children or just you?
She wasn't very nice to a lot of people, but it made me very, very nervous of doing maths, because I just wasn't very confident with it, and I'm still like that now with maths.
Okay. Next question. Did you keep any of your childhood friends, or did you fall apart?
Well, there's one particular childhood friend who lived down the road to me. Her name's Linda as well, and she was a year older than me. And our whole life, we went to the same school. We went to the same synagogue, and she used to live at me at weekend, or I used to live at her. So the two Lindas, we were known as Linda B and Linda G, because I was Benedout, and she was Green, Linda Green. And yes, so we've known each other for 72 years.
Are you still in touch with her now?
Oh, yes, very much so. Yes, yes.
So she was your closest friend.
She was, yes, but also because she was part of the synagogue.
Oh,
Our
yeah.
parents were very, very good friends as well. So yeah, very much a lifelong friend. And then, of course, a lot of my friends from childhood are my cousins as well, because I grew up with them in the synagogue. So I still see them and I speak to them a lot. Not first cousins, just cousins,
Yeah.
sort of relations.
How old were you when you met Andrew?
Well, I've known Andrew also all my life,
Oh, yeah.
because from the synagogue, Holland Park Synagogue, yeah. And also because his mother and father, because I used to call them auntie and uncle, even though they weren't really my auntie and uncle. But the first time I was really aware of Andrew was at my Bat Chayil. Yeah, I was one of the first in our synagogue to have a Bat Chayil, 6 of us, and that was with Linda Green, the girl that I mentioned, who's
Yeah.
been my lifelong friend. And I had the Bat Chayil, and then there was the party in the synagogue hall. And I remember Andrew bought me a compact, and he gave it to me, and he kissed me and said, here's your present. And that's the first time I met him. So I was 13, I was 12, 13. And then the next time was when we were on holiday in Bournemouth, and I met him again. And that's when we started going out from the age of 16.
So you started going out with Andrew at 16. The same
Yeah,
as
he was 17. I met him when he first passed his driving test. So he was 17, I was 16, and we were both on holiday in Bournemouth.
So you met Andrew the same time as Grandma Anne met.
Same age.
The same age as Grandma Anne when she met Danny.
Oh yes, 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 yes. That's right. Yes.
Okay, how old were you when you got married? Because Dad said that
Hmm.
in those days you used to get married really early or something like that.
Well, ask Daddy to work it out. I think I was 22. I was nine. Yes. No, I was 21. 21. It was 1969, so I was 21.
21. That's quite early.
I'm just going. I'm just going to switch. It is, isn't it?
Okay, how old were you when you had Dad and Natalie?
I was 25 when I had Dad, so 25, 23 when I had Natalie.
So you got pregnant like 2 years after you got married or something like that.
No, what happened is that we went to live with Andrew's parents
Yeah.
when we got married for 1 year because we wanted to save up to buy a house. At the same time, Andrew's brother got married. In fact, he got married today. It's his anniversary today. Ian and Linda got married on the 30th of March. We got married on the 30th of July. And the four of us went to live with Andrew's parents for a year. And the idea was to save up enough money to buy a house. And we lived there and it was great. We really enjoyed it. And the only reason we moved out is because Andrew's parents sold their house. So we had to buy a house. And that's when we bought a house in Ealing.
Okay. When did you and Andrew separate?
When I was 29, Andrew was 30.
Interesting. What was your first job?
I worked at the BBC.
BBC?
As the
So were
secretary.
you on television?
Yes. I worked. No, I was a secretary. I was in the first satellite office, bringing the programs via satellite from all over the world. And the first thing that we covered was Rhodesia's independence. Daddy would know about that.
What other job did you have? Did you have any other?
Okay, so whilst I was working for the BBC, Andrew was at a very young age opened a shop with the family, a dry cleaning shop in Brixton. So we had hairdressing shops, in Ealing and in Brixton. And Andrew's father was very enterprising, and people have just brought out dry cleaning machines where people could go and bring their clothes instead of taking them to someone. And so Andrew ran this dry cleaning shop, which was a disaster, and it only lasted a year. But when I finished work in the evening, I used to drive to Brixton and I used to work with him in the shop in the evening. So everything that we did was really about work, a lot of work.
Then you have...
And Andrew had businesses on the side, like selling number plates or selling parts for cars, selling parts for cars that would make them drive faster, selling things that would make them look nicer.
Is that around when he started liking stuff about cars?
He's always liked stuff about cars, ever since he was a child. Yeah.
When Nat and Dad went to university, was it weird living without
them? Natalie never went to university, so she was always there.
Oh yeah.
But I remember the day that Dad went to university, and I think that was one of my worst days I'd ever had.
Oh.
It was horrible. I never realized the impact it would have on me. And in fact, thinking about it now, I could cry now. So we're talking about many, many years ago, but I remember it was really, really very, very difficult. for me. And of course, what was worse, he never came back.
Wait, what?
I did. She's
Well,
crying.
you didn't. You went.
Oh,
I came
You
back.
didn't. You went to.
is that it?
What?
Yeah,
You said he came back for about a week.
You didn't come back to live there.
I did.
Yeah, and then he went to live with Andrew.
And then went to live with Andrew.
Mm. So there we go. Still upsets me. Silly, huh? Another factor was Ashley was the first person in our family to go to university. No one had. So it was. I left school at 14. I didn't have an education at all. Andrew left school at 14. So if you imagine, how old's Ella now? Ella's 12?
Almost 12. 12 this year.
Almost 12. So it's the equivalent of Ella leaving school in 2 years' time and going to work and just to earn a living. So that's what we did. So Ashley going to university had enormous significance, not only for me personally, but the whole family. He was the first to go to university. So it was really, really big, exciting, wonderful thing to happen. I don't think he realized it at the time that it was that different, because maybe all his schooling and everything has been leading towards that. But it was a very big event.
So you can decide whether to go to university or not.
Yes.
What did you feel when you found out your kids were having grandchildren, like me?
Oh, that was a very much a screamy, shouty, wanted to burst with happiness. Something that I don't normally do is scream and shout and get excited. Yeah, so yeah, it was a wonderful event to get excited. It's good actually you mentioned that, because it's a complete contrast, Ashley leaving home and feeling so upset to Ashley having babies and feeling absolutely wonderful and excited.